Hi, I'm Debbie from Peaceful Quilting in East Northport. Angie is down for the count today, so I'm going to be your teacher for Harriet's journey. Today I will be showing you 4 paper piece blocks. I know you've done this before, so this is just a review. Here we go. The first block we're doing is the Cox Comb on page 25. The foundation patterns are on page 97. First thing you want to do, you want to cut apart your pieces for your block. The piece we're working on right now is right here, and then you'll be making 2 of these, and then you'll be doing the reverse colors for this one and this one. So the first thing you do is you're going to place 2 squares right sides together on the unprinted side of the paper, and you're going to sew it down on line 1 or line 1. Okay, then you fold it back and you're going to trim it down to a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Open it up and press it down. So it'll be like that. Then you're going to add your next piece onto it. So you're actually sewing by number when you're doing this. You're just doing it in the order of the numbers on the pattern piece. So now I'm adding piece number 3 onto it. And you just have to make sure that when you flip it up, it's covering the space that you need to cover. Okay, and then you just keep adding pieces one by one in the order of the numbers. The second block is Confluence on page 25, and the foundation piece patterns are 97, and this is the same thing. You'll be doing 2 of this block, which is right here, and then 2 of the green blocks. So you're putting your fabrics, 2 squares right sides together, because you're doing this part right in here, and you're going to sew on line 1, and then you're going to flip it back and iron it down. And don't forget to trim your seam allowance before you press it. And then the next step, you're going to add piece number 3. And make sure again that it's covering the piece that you want it to cover. You can do this by turning it over and looking into the light, and it shows you, you can see that it's covering the section that you need to cover. Okay, the third block is Noon and Night on page 54, and the foundation pieces are on 103. Again, it's the same system where you're doing 2 different blocks, opposite colors. And you'll do it the same way. You'll put the right sides together, you'll press them out, and at the end, you end up with a little square like this. And once the squares are done, you're going to take the 4 squares and sew them together into the pattern. The last one is Homestead on page 46. Foundation paper on 101, and that has a little bit of everything in it. It's got a 1/2 square triangle, which I'm sure you all know how to make by now, since there's been many patterns with the 1/2 square triangle in it. So you take your 2 pieces, your 2 blocks, and you mark a diagonal line in the middle, and then sew a 1/4 inch on each side. Cut them apart, and then you end up with 2 1/2 square triangles. So those will be your 4 corners. Then next, you're going to have a square and a square. And what this is, you're just adding squares onto the corners and flipping them back. You'll do opposite sides first, then you'll put the bottom one on, sew that, flip it back, and then sew this one on the top, and flip it back. And you get your square and your square. And the next part is the foundation paper piecing again, which is a very small little part of it, but it's the same thing again. You're going to take the pattern and you're going to put your number 1 piece down right side up, and you're going to put your number 2 piece down right side together. Sew on your number 2 seam line and then trim it down and press it open. And then the third part, you're going to add the next number 3 onto it, and so you'll get something like this. When you're all done with this whole piece, you're going to be trimming it down all the way around the square so it's nice and neat and trimmed. And that's about it. So I'm Debbie from Pieceful Quilting in East Northport, New York.